Welcome to TBN's Joy in Our Town program. I'm your host, Dr. Jason Jackson with the Jackson Global Initiative organizations, and I'm excited about the topic that we're discussing today, a crucial and critical topic for our community pertaining to education. And with me today, I have Pastor James Whitfield.
Hello, sir. Bless you.
Bless you. And then Bishop Frank Lloyd.
How you doing, sir?
A pleasure to have you guys. And you guys are from Hope for the Future Christian Academy.
Yes, sir.
And so tell us a little bit, Bishop Lloyd, about Hope for the Future Christian Academy.
Hope for the Future Christian Academy is a nonprofit organization. We set up a private school entity that we set up based upon a conversation that me and Pastor Whitfield was having due to the struggle of certain kids in our community in public school. They were unable to make the grade. The parents had concerns with a lot of the secular activity that goes on in the public school, and it was kind of going against the grain of what they was trying to do as they raise their kids up in the church. And so we decided that perhaps there was something that we could do. And in that decision, we started Hope for the Future Christian Academy, wherein we wanted to do a Christian base. We wanted to incorporate prayer back into the lives of the kids, just keep them kind of grounded as to what their parents wanted, and help them to get the individual attention that they were lacking to help them, make the grades. Some of them couldn't pass the SATs and the test that was going on in the public schools. And with private, you don't have to do all the testing that the public requires, but you do have to keep the fundamental courses. So we got that, and we have a saved staff, a Christian staff. So it's been pretty lucrative.
Wonderful. So, and Pastor Whitfield, you're a career educator.
Yes,
and you came with Bishop Frank Lloyd together to establish a school. What was, from your vantage point, being an educator, what was your heart in establishing Hope for the Future Academy?
Well, just being in both the public sector as well as the private sector, I think, we always complain as a body of believers saying that, hey, the problem is they've taken prayer out of the school, and I believe Bishop Lloyd alluded to that earlier. They've taken prayer out of the school, they've taken the Bible out of the school, and so instead of identifying problems, I've always been the person to be one that finds solutions. And I think one of the greatest solutions was to establish our own institution wherein that we are able to incorporate prayer, and where we can talk about the Word of God, where we can have devotion at the beginning of school and also at the end of school. Not only that, the curriculum that we use also infuses different courses such as New Testament survey, Old Testament survey, to where these kids are constantly being engrafted in the Word of God, and also getting a core content, subject content education, which again creates a well-rounded student, and not just the educational perspective, but also in the Christian perspective as well. And so I think that's kind of the difference that I have with working in the public sector versus having a Christian private institution for our kids, to where they can strive in the Word of God and also have those values instilled in them. And it's definitely been working. I mean, we've had kids come in that were problem students in the public sector, right, and their parents are praising us for what the change that those kids have made, those transformations that we're seeing every single day. And so, I mean, that's just a testament to what God is doing through our institution as we're able to provide hope for our future kids.
Great. And where, Bishop Lloyd, are you guys located at in Fort Lauderdale? Where about?
We call it the heart of the city because it's right in an area deemed as priority states, homes, right off of Broward Boulevard, 3271 West Broward Boulevard. But it's called the heart of the city because there's so much going on in this particular area. It's not an area that caters to people with high finances, if you will, or high income, low income. But it's great. You got people over there that really, really want to do better and don't have the opportunities, and they felt as though, and Pastor Whitfield can attest to this, just sitting down talking to the parents, they just felt as though if someone would give their kids another opportunity to do something greater than the norm, they would see some different results. And so we're right in the heart. There's a homeless camp down the street from us, so we get families that come from there It's just a place where it really needs help. It's an area that really
So
needs
it's more
help.
of a socially oppressed area, more urban in nature.
Yes, sir.
But it is a residential area, so there's a lot of families there. So are the parents working? Are they working class families, a lot of them?
I would say probably 30%.
Yeah.
Maybe 30%, because a lot of the kids that we accept in our school, the parents don't have jobs. It's not an income. We actually have students now that we're doing pro bono because it's better for us to get this kid to get a quality Christian education than to try to make a profit off of it. So,
Right. So Pastor Whitfield mentioned that the children were experiencing behavioral problems, but then they came to hope for the future, and the parents were able to see those behaviors be modified in a positive manner. Why do you think that is?
because from day one, the start of school, we tell every child, you starting off right now, every student, you starting off, all of your straight A students right now. It's up to you to keep that A to the end of the year. All of you write the day. I don't care what happened at your last school. I don't care what your grades was there. Right here, right now, you all are A honor roll students. Now it's up to you to keep that. And the only way you can keep that, you got to listen to your instructors. You got to incorporate prayer, believe that works. And you got to do your homework. You got to do the things that we require for you to do. And we have small classrooms. We have the classroom where the teacher can still away. We have teacher aides there that can still away with the child that really need the individual attention.
Right.
Versus, public. It's you got to get it when the instructor give it to you, and if you don't, then it's a whole nother ball game.
Right. So every kid starts out with an A, clean slate.
Clean slate.
Is that how that works, man? That is wonderful, and sometimes we all just need a little bit of a clean slate, and that's
Absolutely.
Maybe it's even biblical, right? Jesus gave us a
Absolutely.
clean slate in
Yes,
spite
sir.
of what we did,
Yes, sir.
and with that same heart, you guys are doing the same thing.
But we actually had a kid who was an F student coming from public school, and when we told him that he had an A, he said, "Wow, I never had an A
Right.
before. So what do I do to keep the A?" And this is one of the kids that Pastor Whitfield is talking about. The parents saying now he's eager to do homework. He's really trying to maintain
Right.
that A. So automatically his grades came up, and his momentum is different. He's a different child.
That is such a great story, and also you, like me, coming from the community, this same community that they're struggling with, we can understand where that's at. Now, Pastor Whitfield, now, do you think that the class sizes? Because I think you mentioned something about that. Why is it? How is it that the class sizes, smaller class sizes, how is it that impacts the children positively?
Well, there's actually two perspectives that impact our children. Is not only the class size, but also the type of curriculum that we use. Mm-hmm. Class size impacts because, oftentimes when you're in a large setting as a student, you have the tendency to try to hide behind the students who always answer the questions.
Right.
So you have the ability to hide. And so with the small class sizes and there's constant rotation amongst the facilitators and the instructors to make sure every child is staying on task, they're doing their assignments, they're making sure they're keeping up with their schedule, that the pacing guide that they establish, the students establish their own pacing guides. And so with that being done, I think that also allows the child to take ownership of their own education. And it's one of the things about our curriculum is that as they set their own goals, they begin to experience success based on the goals that they establish. And the curriculum that we use, whereas, with public schools, again, a child moves up based on their age, so, or their particular level. So if they're in third grade, then they naturally will go to the fourth grade. When they come to us, any student that come to us have to take a diagnostic test. And that diagnostic test determines where they are in each core or subject content.
Wow.
And so, whereas a child could potentially be in fifth grade, but really be reading at a second grade level. However, that fifth grade class is not going to provide any type of material that would remediate that child. And so with us, when they come and take their diagnostic, we start them off at the level where they are. That's positive, because what happens is that child now begins to experience success in that particular subject area, and they build from where they are, and they get to set their own pace, set their own goals, and they can move. I'm not gonna say as slow, but they can move as fast as they need to get caught up. And so I think that allows these children to experience success in that regard. So not only the small class sizes, but also the curriculum that's tailor-made and custom for them.
Okay, so it just sounds great. Started with the clean slate, curriculum that's tailored to where your aptitude is at that time.
Yes.
So Pastor Whitfield, if someone's interested in having their children attend, what programs are available to help people financially to do that?
Well, there are several types of scholarships, 3 that we actually participate in. You have the tax credit scholarship, which we would consider that as Step Up for students, where they can go to Step Up for Students, I believe .org, and apply for a scholarship. That would be for anyone that is struggling financially and they want their child to have a private school education. They're able to apply for that scholarship and be able to get funding that way for them to attend the private school. There's also AAA scholarship, which is a newer scholarship. We've just started using that, and so they can go to AAAscholarships.org to apply for that particular scholarship. Same thing, it's income-based, and so it's based on the amount of money that they make, family size, and so forth. And so once they fill out the information, turn in documentation concerning income, tax returns, check stubs, things of that nature, then they will provide them with their response. And usually we haven't had a child that has been rejected from those scholarships. The last scholarship is the McKay Scholarship, and the McKay Scholarship are for students that's ESE. And so with that scholarship, those would be for those students who have what's called an IEP, an individualized education plan. And so if there's any of those students, then that particular scholarship comes from the Florida Department of Education, and so they can apply for that through FloridaSchoolChoices.com, I believe, and so they can get that scholarship from that way. So those are 3 scholarships that we use: the McKay Scholarship, Step Up for Students, or Step Up Scholarship, as well as AAA scholarships, are all means for families to transition from the public sector to the private sector and still be able to take ownership of their child's education, whether they prefer them to be in a Christian academy or in a public school setting.
Wow, well, there definitely seems to be a lot of resources. And generally, how long does it take very quickly to get an answer back, typically, from applying?
Depending on how fast the parent is. We've had some parents that drag their feet, but if they can get that paperwork in as soon as possible, I mean, there's no more than 2 weeks, they could probably get a response back and get the scholarship award letter. And so it doesn't take long, and it depends on when they do it. Once they open it up, if you're not a procrastinating parent, then of course you can get your response back as soon as within 3 to 4 weeks. But the longer you wait, everyone waits last minute, that process becomes drawn out and it takes a little longer to respond for them. So it just depends on how fast the parents move. Once we get that information out to our parents, then they have to move pretty quickly in order for them to get a quick response. But if they do everything right the first time, it should take them more than 3 to 4 weeks.
Wonderful. Well, I'm glad that there's such accessibility to what you guys are offering. Bless you both.
Thank you.